Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world. This is the world of Wayne and happy Wednesday. And today it's normally Wheelie Wednesday, but I've changed things around. There's going to be no Ducati this week on account we've got a new build. That'll get you thinking. There's a new film coming in the next couple of days, which we're going to see on the channel. But until we've done that, we're going to be doing the next 4 stages of Fanhome release and build your own R2-D2. Now, if you're building this with Fanhome, or if you've built it in the past, the next 4 stages are really important because we're going to start going through the testing of all the electrical circuits that we've got so far. And this is going to help you at the end of the build if you do have problems and you know exactly what everything does. Now, the other good thing about this is, check this out. We have the dome. This is the iconic thing in R2-D2. Now, you see this dome comes in a nice foam support there. Do not throw that away. That's the mistake I made first time I did this. You need this. Actually, this whole thing here, just leave it as it is. You're going to see what I do today, but we are going to start putting the panels into this. Now, something you don't need, top tip time. I have already pre-ordered these. Now, these are in my Amazon store. These are M3 times 8mm screws. They do provide these as part of the build, but they're plastic, so I'm going to be replacing them with metal ones. Now, as I said, it's up to you if you want to do that. It just makes screwing them in easier, to be honest with you, and it does look nicer having those metal screws there. But once again, they are in my Amazon store. Now, I don't believe we're actually at that stage where we do start to screw the panels in, but I'm going to talk about that because we are going to be putting some of the panels in with adhesive tape, and I'll explain what the theory is behind that as well. Now, if you want to get this for yourself, I have put the link down here to the Fanhome website. You can get this all the way from pack 1, but without further ado, let's get cracking. Now, I will go through issue 51 magazine. As you can see, lots of things about droids. The medical droid there, what was that called? EV9D9, wasn't it? Something like that, I don't know. Just some more things about the droids. And then we get to the page where we're looking at what we're going to be doing. Now, obviously, issue 51 is the dome section. And as you can see, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to be taking a panel piece here, and we're actually going to be putting this into the dome. Now, the first panel piece that we're going to be putting in came in the last stage, issue 50. So I've zoomed out the top camera. I think it'd be rude not to look at this dome. Let's get this out. And there we go. That is what this is looking like. Oh, it's hard to get out. There you go. So that's the inside, and that is the outside. Pretty good. But yep, you do want to store this on this foam so it doesn't get damaged. First thing we're going to do then is we're going to take this piece from stage 50. Now, in this little plastic holder there is also some double-sided tape, as you can see. Now, while I do this, I'm just going to keep this in the plastic just so it doesn't get scratched, although I probably am going to weather R2-D2 up first. Now, we need to secure this into place onto this section here with adhesive tape. Now, you're probably asking yourself, Wayne, why are we putting it in with adhesive tape? That doesn't sound very good. The reason being it's only temporary. It's only temporary to hold this in. The screws that you saw earlier on are actually going to hold it in fully. So when this is on, this piece that we're holding here is actually just going to go into this section just like that there. So what we need to do that is we need to put some tape just along the edges of this section. So the section in question is just the one that's above this one with the square here. So put one along the top. Now, we're never ever going to be taking this out again, just so you know. But it doesn't mean you don't want to put it in as neat as you can. So that's 1, and this one's 2. Again, you don't want it to be going into the opening because you will see that. So take off the adhesive. I'm going to use my tweezers to help me do that. Making sure that the stickiness is still on there. Do the same on the other side, just like that. And then we're going to be pressing this into place. just like that. And as you can see, it's going to hold itself in there, no problems at all. You can move it round to make sure you've got no gaps and you've lined this up perfectly. But in fact, to do that, I'm probably going to have to take this out of here. But remember, this is just a temporary hold for this to go into place. It's not permanent. So all we want to do is just have it so it holds itself into place. Now the other thing you want to do is you want to make sure that that steel frame around the blue rectangle there is uniform all the way around. So that panel's actually in exactly where it needs to be. And pretty much that's how all the panels are going to go in until we get to the point where they'll be screwed in and we won't have to worry about that adhesive anymore. Now when we're storing this, as I said, it's probably best to actually put this back on to your foam support here, just like that, and then keep it protected with your top. But that's all there is to do in that stage. Now stage 52 is going to address a problem that we've got. I need something to point with. Okay, I like pointing. We've got the control board here, but what we're actually going to be doing is we're going to be addressing a problem that we had with the first leg that we did. We need to actually put what they're calling a calibration panel in. What it is, in fact, is a clear plastic washer which is going to lift this sensor up slightly so that it'll actually work when R2-D2 is moving. Now what this sensor does at the bottom is it stops R2-D2 falling off tables. So we're going to be getting that sorted. So let's show you what we're doing there. So this is the leg stage that we completed in issue 33. So what we're going to do is just take off the foot plate by undoing all of these screws. And they're all out, which means that panel now comes off. Probably best to just show you stage 52. So let's open this up. And the calibration panel that we need is underneath this control board. Just so you know, that is what the control board looks like. I'm going to keep that in there because I just want that little bit of plastic there. And I'll get that out. It's a square bit of plastic with a hole in it. And what I need to do is just remove this sensor here. Take it out, just like that. Get the calibration panel, as they're calling it. Put that in, and then once again, just put that back into position where it goes, and then put this all back together again. Now I'm racking my mind from the last time we did this, and I can't remember doing it for the second one. I don't have, I'm sure there was a point where I was like, why have we got one in one side and not the other? I don't know. But you never know. I might be wrong. And perhaps we did do one for the second leg. But all I'm going to do is put all of these screws back in, because that is all there is to do in this stage. Okay, remember I said why this is an important stage? Because we're going to be testing a lot of the electrics now. So we've got a test board here. We've got some leads here as well. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be testing. The first thing is connecting up the control boards. So they look like that. First thing we're going to test is the lightsaber. We're going to make sure that it goes out and back in again. Then we're going to be testing the leg sensor. And that's all we're going to be doing in this stage. So let's get these test boards out. We've got this one here. We've got this one here, which I'm going to get out. And they've also provided us with some wires as well that look like that. And let's connect this up. So the first wire we want is the one that's got the blue in it. Let's take the wire tidy off. And we're going to be putting one end of this. I think the ends are different. You have got a ginormous end and a smaller end. It's the smaller end that's going in here. It's just going into the middle, like that. Do the same on this orange lead. Let's undo this one, and the orange one's just going to be going into the one on this side here. So smaller side again, make sure they're lined up properly. There we go, that's the orange lead in. So to connect these two wires up now, we're going to be putting the blue lead. I'm going to call it the blue lead because there's one blue lead on it. That's just going to go into this side here. Put that in. And then the orange lead is going to be nearest to the one just at the top here. So let's get that one in as well. Perfect. So we are ready to go now. We've got the battery connected to this 2-point in here. and that's the control boards. So now we need to bring over the lightsaber tube that looks like that. Now if you check mine out, I've put a great big wad of resin at the bottom of it. When this turns in the dome, people have reported that this could come knocked and become detached. I didn't want that to happen, so I've slated it in a load of resin. Some people have used hot glue on it as well, just to protect that joint there. It doesn't impede the up-down mechanism of the lightsaber tube, but we're going to check this out anyway. So what we've got is we've got a yellow and black lead. That's going to go into the one nearest to this orange lead here. So if I plug that in, you can see exactly where I put that in there like that. The other lead we've got, just looking, my colour blindness, is a red and a black lead looking like that. That's just going to go next to it. So again, we can plug that in. Turn on the switch, and when we turn on the switch, nothing should happen, just so you know. Just try to lay this out so you can actually see, probably like that, that's probably best. So when I put that on, nothing should happen apart from the board lighting up. As you can see there, I've got a red light on the board. So when I press one button, it should go one way, and when I press the other button, it should go the other way. So let's try that out. Up, down, up, down, up, down. Now when you've done that, to take these out, don't pull them by the wire. Just get yourself a little screwdriver here and just pull it out like that until you get a little gap underneath. Get your screwdriver in that and just pull it out like that. That way you're going to protect your plug without pulling all the plugs out. Just do the same on the other one here. As you can see, you have got some little plugs that you can push down in here to actually feed that out, just like that. And then that's the other wire out. That's getting them out without pulling the plugs. I can't reiterate enough. Don't just pull these out, otherwise you're going to have a bad time. Just press into the holes on this side here, or just get a little screwdriver in there just to lever them out. And that way you will protect your plugs. Top tip. Okay, the last thing we're going to check is the sensor for the leg. So the leg sensor is here. This is the leg that we did previously. I'm just going to plug this into this port just here. So let's get that in there. Just like that. Now it's probably best if I actually do this here. So what I'm going to do is we're going to be testing this sensor here. So when I turn this on, as you can see, I've got no lights on my board. Now what should happen is when I put something in the way of this, a light should come on. Now I'm putting my hand in front. If you check that board there, the blue light's coming on. So that is that sensor working, absolutely no problems at all. So I'm very happy with how that sensor works. That's going to stop R2-D2 going into walls. I'm going to turn that off because we've got this lead coming off of the leg now. I'm going to plug this into the test board next to the blue lead here. So get that one in. That's all the way plugged in there. Now what we're going to be doing now is we're going to be testing R2-D2's leg to make sure this sensor here. Let me just show you, to make sure he's not going to go flying off the side when we turn it on. So what's going to happen is when we turn it on, as you can see, we've got a green light showing there. Now when he goes off, okay, so I've got a problem with my sensor, and as you can see, the sensor's working perfect at the moment. If I put my hand in front of it, the green light comes on. If I take my hand off, the green light comes off. On, off, on, off. So the sensor's working absolutely fine. The problem is when I put the foot back on, which I do here, this is with the calibration gizmo in it. Just like this, as you can see, it's on all the time. So this base is interfering with the foot. Nothing I can do there. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to figure out why that is the case. I'm guessing that it's detecting sensors around the side and not just out the top here. Now I suspect that even though we've put a calibration panel in there, I think it needs to be lifted out a little bit more. I think that needs to be sitting kind of like there. Let's just see if that solves the problem. The actual switch is not working at all now, so I do think there is something wrong with this sensor, which is great because I can actually solve this problem now rather than when the whole thing's gone together. So I will order another one of these sensors, but this is why we test things, you see. It was working before, but as you can see now, it's just a constant green light. So there we go. I'll get one of them on order. So it's a little disappointing that one doesn't work, but you know what? I'm just so glad that we notice these things now rather than at the end. Now, what do I think's happening? Well, obviously we saw the actual thing working, but when it went onto the leg, it didn't. Now, even if I was to push this all the way into the leg, it still wasn't doing it while that surround was on. So what that tells me is that the visual range of these two sensors here was too far. I think that these need to be a lot narrow, which means that this is what's at fault. So I will get that fixed. You do want to make sure that you do put that calibration plate in though, because it is going to lift them up slightly. But as you saw in my case, it wasn't enough. But that was that stage. Let's move on to stage 54. So in stage 54, as you see, we've got some more panels here with adhesive tape, and we've also got some parts for the leg here. So we're going to be putting some more panels in like we did at the start of this video, and then we are actually just going to put the plates in to hold the wheel in place for the other leg. So I've got those parts here. Let's get these out. 3 plates to put on this time, and those 3 plates are going to go next to the one that we had already put in into these 3 points here. So once again, they've gave us some adhesive. We're just going to put this along this line here. And the same on the other side. Peel off the adhesive. 1. And 2. And then we can put these into place. They are all the same size, these ones. I'm happy with that. So they now look like that, just holding them into place, and then that's all of these into place. Once again, I want to protect this, so I'm going to put this on the dome section here, onto the foam, and put the cover on to keep that protected. Bring up the other leg that we were working on, which looks like this. I've already got the wheel in here. Now, in the last stage, as you saw, we had a bearing to put in. We've got the wheel, pretty much everything I've already just done actually. So we put this bearing through the wheel here, into the bearing that's in there. All of that come in a previous stage like that. Put this bearing on top here. This came in this stage. And then we're closing that off with this plate just like that. And it wants us to put it together with 4 screws. Now it doesn't tell us what screws we're putting in. So looking at what I've got, I am going to try, let me think. I'm going to try these, I think they're 4mm silver screws, and they've got in perfect. So that's the ones you want, 4mm silver. Now let me just show you what one of them look like. They look just like that. So 4 of these to put in. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Perfect. And that is all there is to do in that stage. That's all there is to do in that pack. Well, there you go. Just while I've doing the video, I thought I'd just go to the live chat. And I spoke to this lovely customer service rep called Andia. Andia? Thank you, Andia. 6 lines. That's all I had to do. My customer name, my account number, my address, and what the issue was. It's issue 32, which that sensor's in. And it's going to be replaced. How quick is that? You know, sometimes you can see the measure of a company by how they deal with when things go wrong. I'm really impressed. So once again, thank you, Andia. That'll be coming soon. I'm sure that's going to be here for the next delivery, actually. So we'll actually fit that together and we'll see that working. But if you want to get this yourself all the way from pack 1, I'll put the link down here in the video description. You can get that for yourself. But I really do hope you liked that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care.